on. So, unless there was an album in the works that's going to get released posthumously, this will be the very last full studio album recording for Ozzy Osbourne that I will ever review. It's a very sad day. Also is Ozzy's last album, Patient Number 9. I delayed on buying this album for a while, I really did. And the reason I delayed on buying the album was when I heard Patient Number 9, I watched the video, saw it on there, and at first, I thought it was very much a Ozzy kind of doing a throwback to other ideas that he had written before. And where the music was a little bit different. Music, I'll get into that more as we go with this album. With Patient Number 9, now in retrospect, and knowing the story behind the album and what was going on and whatnot at the time, as much as they kind of play up that crazy aspect in the song, it's the line, "I'm not getting out alive." No, I'm not getting out. No, I'm not getting out alive. And when you listen to Jack talk about how he honestly believes it was the doctor that did the surgery on his neck and put all the screws and bolts and everything like that in there that just totally destroyed his dad, Patient Number 9 hits really different now. It really hits hard. It really hits different. And honestly, it's a really good tune. It really is a good tune. This album is definitely where I really think that Ozzy should have been going after he came back from retirement. Instead of looking at working with one very specific guitarist for every album, he should have gone with a mix of guitars, a mix of artists to work with. Because there are tracks on here, and there's some artists that show up on here that I'll get into, that just absolutely blew my mind as well. I'm looking for the overall crew on this one. Okay, Andrew Watt was the producer on this album, and I actually think he did a really good job. I really like what he did. He helped craft some really good tunes. Yeah, this album was basically just Ozzy with a slew of different musicians, and every track's going to be a little bit different with different writers, stuff like that. So to go in all of that without having a computer in front of me and trying to do it off of the book in here, it's going to be too difficult. So I'm just going to go with the featurings on the back. Needless to say, there are definitely songs where I'm pretty sure that, when you listen to it, you can hear Geezer Butler fills and Rob Trujillo fills. I also know for a fact that Rob Trujillo was on the album. So, okay. So the reason I bring this up is Jeff Beck is the guitarist on Patient Number 9, and his work on Patient Number 9 is fantastic. I don't know if I own any Jeff Beck. I personally don't own any Jeff Beck. I'm not sure if Tracy brought him with. Jeff Beck's one of those guitarists that I own stuff that he's on, and I love listening to his work. I don't know why I don't own any of his stuff. So, folks, drop me a line down below what Jeff Beck Beck stuff should I be checking out and listening to, picking up? That's followed by Immortal, and I have listened to this album I don't know how many times, and I kid you not, I still could not tell you what Immortal sounds like. That sits between Patient Number 9 and Parasite. And Parasite, I know. I listen to Parasite. I hear Parasite. I'm good with Parasite, man. Parasite's a good tune. Patient Number 9, decent tune. Immortal just totally disappears. I seriously cannot remember what Immortal sounds like for the life of me. And Immortal features Mike McCready. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but yeah, seriously, just boom, gone. Parasite, good tune. Ozzy was definitely dealing with a lot of psychological, I don't want to say psychological issues, but there's a lot in his lyrics in this particular album where it's kind of like he's trying to free himself. He knows his time's coming, okay? Let's face it, when you get to this age, regardless of the surgeries and all that other stuff, you hit a certain point, you know you're running on borrowed time, right? You know, and making it past 65 for guys like Ozzy's age and stuff like that, you know, that's when you hit that borrowed time compared to how it was like for their own fathers and stuff like that. And I bring up Parasite because, you know, it talks about dad in there. And Ozzy, there's been a lot of talk over the years about Ozzy and his issues with his dad and stuff like that. And bringing up when I'm talking about Parasite, I don't think it's him referring to his father as a parasite. It's more the parasite that it puts in him. And I really dig the tune. I think it's a good tune. No Escape From Now with Tony Iommi. Parasite also is Zach. Iommi is on No Escape From Now. It's a good tune, but it sounds a little too... without even looking that Iommi was on it, I'm like, wow, that was a real Sabbath tune. It has that Iommi working with Ozzy sound, you know. Then you hit One of Those Days. This one blew my mind for two reasons. I really dug the song. And I really like this one. Ozzy should have done an album like this years ago where he brought in all the great blues rock guitarists, because that's what he did here. You know, not all of them, but quite a few of them. I mean, Jeff Beck, as I've already mentioned, and Jeff Beck, I believe, is on. Yeah, Jeff Beck's on multiple songs on here. You know, Zach, well, not considered a blues guitarist. If you listen to how he plays and what he plays and whatnot, he's definitely blues bass inspired. Iommi, blues jazz, you know. And then you hit One of Those Days, and the featured guitarist is Eric Clapton. And I am not an Eric Clapton fan. I love Cream. I won't say I love Cream. I love Eric Clapton's guitar work in Cream. There's some stuff in Cream that doesn't quite work for me. I recently picked up the one he did right after Cream. Oh, man. Oh, where is it? It's usually sitting like right there because it's on my list of albums to get around to review. Oh, Blind Faith. Yes. So I recently picked up Blind Faith's only album. And, you know, like Clapton's, you know, when he's doing rock, like really rocking out, I love the song Cocaine. So when he's rocking out, you know, I really rocking out. I really love what he does. He's not rocking out on this. He's doing his blues thing on this, but this is like some of the most inspired guitar work I think I ever heard from Clapton since Cream and Blind Faith. You know, like it was fantastic. And it really had me going, Eric, why are you not releasing more crap like this? One of Those Days really grabbed me. It's one of those songs that I think I'll listen to multiple times. That's followed by 1,000 Shades, which wasn't a bad tune while I'm listening to the album. I don't know if it's one that'll stand out too much for me later. Mr. Darkness was pretty cool. This was a little more typical Ozzy. Also, Zach Wild on that one. So, it has that Zach Ozzy sound. Nothing Feels Right. This is also Zach, and Evil Shuffle is also Zach. The reason I do those the way I did them is they really didn't stand out all that much for me. They're not bad tunes, but if the album's playing, great. When the album's not playing, whatever. Then we get into Degradation Rules. That's with Iommi. Another tune where it's just kind of like, okay. Really enjoy the song while the song's playing, but when the album's not playing, I'm not thinking about it that much. Then we got Dead and Gone. And I thought Dead and Gone was really, really good, man. I actually really got into Dead and Gone, and I thought it was one of the more enjoyable songs on the album, personally. Only God Knows, and then we finish with Dark Side Blues. This was really more of a bluesy album, honestly. This has got a lot more of a bluesy vibe and feel to it. It's a lot of self-reflection, a lot of just getting in touch with your soul kind of stuff in that. And this was a great album for it to be Ozzy's last album. When he released Ordinary Man, I said I really hoped Ordinary Man would be the last album because it was, a really good album to go out on. And then when Patient Number 9 came out, I went, oh no. No. And honestly, I really dig this album. I think it was a really good album to go out on. I think that this album leaves a memorable legacy for Ozzy. Not between this and Ordinary Man, he left a memorable legacy at the end with his albums. Otherwise, I would have been disappointed with how Ozzy's career would have ended otherwise. Because it would have been No More Tears, and then just a bunch of so-so albums with one or two good tunes to finish it out. I know I downplay this album a little bit, and the reality is when I've listened to this album, most of the time I'm cleaning the house, driving the car, or I've got Tracy in the car with me. I've listened to it once or twice in the house by myself with it cranked up, and that's about it. And even then, like the songs I'm talking about, like Immortal, really just doesn't matter how many times I listen to this album, man. I swear to God, this goes from Patient Number 9 into Parasite. So there, not every song on this is a killer tune. Just like Ordinary Man, not every song was a killer tune. But not every album can be back to front killer tunes. Not every album can be No More Tears, Not every album can be Blizzard of Oz. Not every album can be Diary of a Madman, But this isn't too bad, honestly. Not too bad at all. I'm going to have to do an Ozzy ranking. I really am. Because this album and Ordinary Man is going to make it real interesting, and I have to decide if I'm going to do Black Sabbath in there as well, because let's face it, if I put Black Sabbath in with Ozzy, half of the top 10 is going to be Black Sabbath, if not, like 9 out of 10 of the top 10. All right, folks. If you don't own this album yet, go pick it up. It's worthwhile. That's it. It's the perfect way to say goodbye to Ozzy. It is. I'm okay with this one. This one was a good way to say goodbye to Ozzy. And, you know, we're all going to miss him. The world will never be the same again. That madman not out there running around. I mean, we all knew the day was going to come. We all knew the day was going to come when we were going to get the last album. It's just, the day came for Dio, and the name came for Ozzy, and with us Bowie in there, and Lemmy, and I mean, we lost all of Motorhead, basically. You know, it's hard. Kind of makes you want to be patient number 9 a little bit. All right, folks. I'm going to end this one there, you know. It's just, drop me a line. Hit the like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications. Please hit that subscribe button. Try to hit you on it before the end of the year. Otherwise, folks, peace, love, take care.